Welcome back to this week's Trinity in 20 in our sort of continued series of our walkabout here in our worship space. I'm up here in the sanctuary apse area of the church, and there is a thing up here that I'm sure if you've been to Trinity, if you watched the videos, you will have seen before, and it's hanging over here. It's called a sanctuary lamp. And this lamp has a particular meaning to it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So by tradition, these lamps hang inside of what you would call the sanctuary of the church, up near the altar, but they always, by tradition, they tend to be a bit more of a Roman Catholic tradition. They usually hang in the area where what is called the tabernacle, or where the reserved sacrament or pre-consecrated hosts or wafers are kept. Usually, if you go to a Catholic church, there is a box or a cylinder somewhere near the altar of the church where reserved sacrament, things that have already been consecrated, are then after church placed into. And the sanctuary lamp usually burns in the proximity of where that tabernacle is. And it means when that lamp is lit and hanging there, it is to be a reminder to us of the presence of Jesus in this space, that Jesus is present even when we're not present, that in that mystical sense of Jesus' presence in everywhere, if you may, is here particularly in this space. Now, obviously, here in this church, and by our tradition, we don't have a tabernacle, but it is in this side, the sacristy, whether you know it or not, the sacristy for our church is over right down the little hallway, sometimes they're called the ambulatory, right over there, and that's where already consecrated elements are kept. So in that sense, we maintain that tradition that this lamp is in the proximity of where we keep those things that are already consecrated, with that promise of Jesus to be present in the bread and wine of Holy Communion. The history of this also reaches back just a little bit further. This lamp reminds us of the stories from the Old Testament of the temple in Jerusalem. And you may have heard the story about the temple in Jerusalem. There was a candlestick there in the sanctuary of the temple, back behind where most of the people gathered. It was sometimes called a menorah, a 7-branched candlestick. And that candlestick was intended to keep burning as, again, a reminder to the people of God's presence there in the temple. If you remember the story of Hanukkah reaches back into that idea that by tradition, there was, when the temple had been restored after the people came back from their captivity in Babylon, there was a day they only had enough oil to keep the lamps running for one day, and as a miracle of God's presence, the lamps kept burning for 7 days. So that reminds us of that story, again, of the presence of God in this space. In most Jewish synagogues, they'll also have a lamp that burns in the area where the Torah scroll is kept. So again, all of that being a sense of God is present, Jesus is present in this place. Now, the only time that lamp should go out would be on Good Friday, when we remember the death of Jesus. We remember that Jesus had died, and so that lamp, by tradition, should be put out for that particular day. Now, there is something kind of unique about this light, and you can't tell immediately. There would usually be a candle or a bottle that has oil inside of it. As it happens, this one has a little electrical wire that comes in, and the light that is in there is a light bulb, an electric light bulb, and it flickers. It reminds us of the flame. So in that sense, it's you know. Somebody actually noted it when we had a program here back in December, and the power went off right at the start of that program. This individual happened to notice that the lamp went out. Well, the lamp went out because the electrical power went out. So that's kind of a unique aspect of this light in particular here. But when you're in here and you happen to notice, you see this thing, it's called sanctuary lamp. And it does remind us that in this place, we say, one of the things that makes this place holy is the presence of Jesus here. This lamp reminds us of that. I would wish for you the presence of Jesus in your life, both today and in the week that lies ahead of you. Have a great week. See you soon.